The thing about Mira that really fascinates me is how cold but regal that she is. How much of that was the character that you were asked to portray versus how much of that was actually Carolyn Seymour?
90% of it was Carolyn Seymour.
Really? That's
Uh,
cool.
well, because what they do is they show me Mira,
Mm-hmm.
I see the character, and then I have a director whom I adore. But really, because I can play commanders and because I have this voice and because I look the way I do, I guess that's why. But I mean, I have a sense of authority which doesn't really, I can't own, but I look like
Oh, you do.
I can do that. So that's why I think that's why, because they did revoice me. If you're very clever, you can hear when they pretended they couldn't find me.
They
So that was,
pretended.
they pretended they couldn't find me. And there's a bit in Gears of War which is not my voice.
Which game?
The one before last, because I did the last one, the one where I'm in my daughter's head. I did that one.
That was four. Okay, yeah, because I didn't see a credit for Gears 4. There was a Mira character, I think, for the PV for the player versus player side. But yeah, so the um, the fifth
I don't
one.
understand what the difference is, but I mean, somebody just wrote to me and said, you realize that Gears of War and you're not on it, and they said that you'd retired and they couldn't find you.
Hmm. Yeah, the fourth one. There was nothing in the actual campaign that I remember of Mira, but in the fifth one, she comes back and there's several lines. Um, I think my favorite one that you did was in the second installment, where you're doing a propaganda speech in Nexus, and you bolster out the world is rightfully ours. I mean, that was just so commanding, and it seemed like it was appropriate for what they were trying to get along with. Did you improv a lot of Mira, or was everything pretty much scripted?
Oh, no, 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 definitely scripted. I mean, they had a producer who made sure that the lines didn't get messed with. I mean, we improvise. We could rewrite the lines sometimes if I felt it didn't fit her.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was a big hoo ha. I had to talk to the producer who was always online listening. Because I'd be in the booth, and then at the other side of the booth in the studio there would be the director and the two guys that wrote it, and the producer, and it was Rod who, because Rod's gone now. Rod
Rod
was who
Ferguson?
was
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone now. He's gone somewhere else. But he was the one who was my champion. So he allowed me to be me much more than I think than most people do, most producers do. He really has faith in me.
Yeah, Rod went to Blizzard to work on the next Diablo installment. I am curious if they would bring Cliff, was it Belinsky, back from who did the first three installments. I know he's interested in Gears of War 6, but I don't know if Microsoft's entertaining and bringing him back or not. But I think that would help, because a lot of the franchise has kind of splintered off a little bit, because the first
Yeah.
three were extraordinarily fun. They were gritty, and they fast forwarded 20 years, and it's not the same game anymore. But I would love to bring back someone who's part of the core first three games that Epic did, and see if maybe he could bring back some of that grit, some of that. Because, for example, my best friend Q on the show, he tried playing the campaign. Goes, this doesn't feel like Gears. But when we did the Hive Busters, which was the extra content with the three other characters, it felt like you were on missions, you were running together, you were fighting together as a squad. So bringing back that kind of camaraderie, we would actually have more fun with it. But now we just play the horde or the escape games that are in there,
Right.
which unfortunately doesn't have your voice associated with it. But there is a Mira that we can play for player versus player, And one of my friends online, Vixen, she usually runs with Mira as her skin.
Right, right.
Yeah, she's a hoot. But out of curiosity, what was your favorite project that you worked on as an actress?
Oh my God. There's too many. You know, they're all. You know, I hate to say something like that, but on the whole, that they've all been my favorite. You know, because at the time, one is so committed. I mean, I loved working. I loved working with O'Toole. I mean, however, you know, whatever our relationship was, what I learned from him was extraordinary. You know, I worked with David Hemmings, and I learned an enormous amount from him. Albie Finney, I just fell in love with, and we were friends till the day he died. Um, Steptoe and Son, which is an English movie that I don't know that anybody knows really in America. It was not my favorite, but I learned how to strip, and I learned how to keep my cool, and I learned how to restrain myself, you know, because I was so angry all the time working on that movie, and I learned what was more important was the commitment to the project and not the personal stuff.
Right.
You know, and when I got to the States, I learned a lot about habits when I got to the States. That's really what happened, is that I've gone from being a classical actress and doing this stuff over here, and the speed of television was the thing that got me into some bad habits, which is why I understand that when you act in some of the American TV, it can really change you as an actor.
Oh, I imagine so, because there's also a culture change over this way as well.
No, yeah. Yeah.
So lately, it seems like you've been doing a lot of more sci-fi stuff. Are you drawn to sci-fi, or is that just the gigs that you're actually getting at the time?
That's the gigs I'm getting. And it's the gigs I'm getting. And I work a lot with a company called Big Finish.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about that, Big Finish?
We can. We haven't though, but yeah, we can.
They're an audio company, and they've got the rights to a lot of shows. You know, Doctor Who's in particular. They do Doctor Who a lot, and I've done. I can't remember. I mean, 7 or 8 of the Doctor Who's with all the different Doctor Who's that I've worked with. Some with John Hurt and Ian McNeice and, you know, Tom, and I mean all of them. I've worked with all of them. Mm-hmm. And then there's a series called Survivors that I did in 1970 for the BBC, and we're now on the 8th series of the audio ones. And that's about a pandemic. It's exactly the same as has happened here. It started in China. It destroys, you know, only 10% of the population are left alive, and I'm the leader. There are 3 of us that try and find each other, because there's only, I mean, we're all different backgrounds, but all our families get destroyed by this pandemic, and so we take off on foot and try and find each other and start new tribes. You know, it's a tribal piece.
Is it in Survivors? I'm not familiar with it. Is that like a zombie apocalypse, or is it just the
Not
people?
Not at all. It's people. It's people driven. Look it up on YouTube.
I will.
It's enjoying a huge success right now, and you can buy it. But it's very prophetic about today. It's
Sounds
very
like
prophetic.
it. So those that are infected actually just die. They don't transform or do anything.
They don't transform.
Okay.
It's a people-based thing, but it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah, it's almost as scary as having zombieism, because you have all this death and decay, and how is that going to affect everything else, because it's a circle of life. So you may have these carrion that would actually overwhelm the globe, because they have all these new sources of food. So yeah, that's kind of scary stuff.
It's interesting.
Are you working on any new material now that you can disclose?
Well, there's a couple of secretive things. There's a couple of the Big Finish things I've done that I can't talk about, but they're all to do with everything I've done, science fiction. So you know, fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see what we have coming up next, and hopefully they'll cast you in Gears of War 6, and we'll go back to E-Day.
Well, that would be nice. We need to tell them that, because they've stopped working with the guy who always was my champion. He was a man called Chris Borders, who was the director on a lot of them.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and he and I did all of them before, you know. And then when Rod left, that's it. You know.
Yeah, because as a fan, I've always wanted to play Emergence Day because the first one was set 4 years after the Locust actually came to the surface. But I'd be kind of curious to see what it would like when Mira was planning the actual attack on civilization. Because in the fifth game, we kind of got her background about how she was a science experiment, and I thought it would go a different path because I read the books, and I always thought that Mira was Adam Phoenix's wife, Marcus's mother, just the way that it fit because she left him in Asheville Fields, and his father wouldn't tell him where she went, and Marcus was always upset with his father. So I kind of thought, well, maybe Mira had an experiment that kind of went wrong, and therefore she left, and that's what caused her to get involved with the Locust below. But they went a different path with that. But I thought that would be an interesting story because in the third game, I really felt bad that we had to fight Mira, and I didn't want to kill her because I had such an attachment to the character. And when I told my wife that I was going to be speaking with you, she was excited because she really we bonded over Gears 1. We got married to Gears 2. And so Gears 3, 4, 5, we've always played campaign together. Even Redemption, Judgment, we've played all of them together as a couple. So we split screen the entire game.
Right.
So when I told her I was going to talk to you today, she was excited. She's sick, or she'd be probably in here talking to you as well.
Oh,
So
yeah, that is so.
So, how can our fans find you and follow you on any of your social media platforms? So, you also have a website too, if I'm correct.
I do. Well, you found it. There's that, and I think I have a Twitter account now. Somebody did one for me. I don't do social media in France because, quite honestly, it's not worth the effort. You start it and then it just disappears into the ethos. I mean, they cannot keep it going.
Really?
There is no. I'm stunned we're still talking. No. Normally, there's no internet here, so it'll get much better when I hit the UK in July, and then I'll get stuck in.
Well, I'll definitely definitely invite you back. I'd love to get the other guys on the show to speak with you as well.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, because Q will ask some wild questions because he really he takes rabbit holes and a deep dive down rabbit holes. We'll start on one
subject. I can follow him.
Oh, and he's great to talk to. He's very intelligent. That's one of the things that I compliment him on is he's so bloody smart, but he just does not slow down sometimes. I'm like, can we back up and actually add to what you're just talking about? Because he'll take tangents, and I love him for who he is because he's very creative, and I think that's important. Yeah, definitely, we'll love to get you on the show.
Okay, that would be lovely.
All right,
I'm just hoping I'll carry on working. I'm getting a little OLD now around the edges, so I'm just hoping that they keep me working because I love it so much.
Well, with the Star Wars open license that Lucas Games is now able to do starting, I think, in September, there's a lot of Star Wars projects. Maybe they'll bring you back for some more Shmi Skywalker or some other Star Wars gigs.
That would be good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I thank you very much, Miss Seymour, for your time. You're very lovely to talk to, and I look forward to doing it again.
Okay. You're on. We will. Thanks very much. Be safe.